So let's design a friction folder. So you can see this little friction folder here, which is just a modification of one of my earlier designs. And I did this because I wanted to do a special friction folder model for this 2014 build along. And so as you can see, I have some paper plans here that I drew up on a CAD program. And if you have access to a CAD program, you can get them relatively inexpensive now. There's also some free ones online, and even Google SketchUp can be used to do this. So just a couple design considerations as you start out. So with a friction folder, obviously it pivots on this center pin, and then there's a stop pin back here. So when the blade swivels down, it stops the blade here so that it doesn't close completely. It stops here. So that when you have a spacer in here, your sharp blade isn't touching anything. And so that's the purpose of that. And then of course when it opens up, it stops the blade from rotating back any further. And so again, you can design these using something as sophisticated as a CAD program, or you can do them completely from scratch. And I'm going to show you a little bit how to do that. So if you're doing this by hand, the simplest way is just to take your piece of steel that you got in your kit, lay it down on a piece of paper like that, and then we're just going to draw around it, and then we'll know what our design constraints are. So this piece is about 1.5 inches wide, and that's a little too wide for what I would like to design on a smaller knife. And so first of all, I just lay that out like that. And remember that we're going to leave room for the tang, that little rat tail on the end, and also make sure that our blade isn't too long. So I'm going to go for a total length from the back of the tang to the top of the knife of about 4 1/4. So I just measure that out like that. And that's going to be basically my blade material to work with. So I'm going to come over here and I want to draw a line for the middle. I'm going to make this 1 inch wide. So I'm going to make a mark at 1 inch. I'm going to make a mark at half. And then my tang's going to be 1/4 inch, so I'm going to make a mark at 1/4. Just come back here, 1/4, half, 1, and join those lines. Just like that. So I want my tail on my friction folder to be about 1.25 inches long. I want to make sure that it has plenty of length to clear the top of the knife, but not so long that it looks goofy. So I'm going to measure 1.25 inches here, 1.25 inches. And there we have it. So this is going to be the tail, and then this is going to be the tip up here. Now I'm just going to take a compass, and I want to draw about a 1/2 inch circle for the tang where it pivots. So I just measure 1/4. I'm going to go right at this intersection here in the middle and draw a circle like that. Okay, so we have the tail. This is where the pivot's going to go. And my stop pin is going to be back here, but I need to have it far enough up that it doesn't gall against this, so that when the knife swings open and closed, it can pass this stop pin. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to measure out in about just a little over, so there's clearance, a little over a 1/16. And then I'm going to draw another circle. And so I know that my stop pin is going to go right in this area here. And then a straight line down here. And my other stop pin, or my the part of the blade that stops when it's closed, is going to be somewhere in this area. I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra room and then just draw straight down like that. Okay. Now, what I have is my tail coming along here like this. This is where the stop pin goes. This is going to be the inner pivot tang area. It's going to come down like this, and then all that's left to do is to design the tip and how the blade I want that. So this is going to be a modified sheep's foot. So I want to go below center, and I'm just going to eyeball this, but it's probably about halfway, 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to draw another line just to give myself a point of reference, and this is where I want the point of my knife to be. So I'm just going to sketch this in how I want it. This is the cutting edge of the blade, and then the tip is going to be a kind of a modified sheep's foot like that. So it's that easy. I don't know, that took me what, a couple minutes, and there we have a blade that's already designed on paper, no fancy CAD program, and ready to go. Then I'll just take a pair of scissors and cut this out, and we'll have a little paper pattern. Okay, so I had that cut out, as you can see, my little friction folder pattern right here for my blade. And then what you can do is use this to make a little mock-up. And what you can use is something like a piece of clear plastic, or this is just a piece of a paint stirrer from Lowe's. They'll give you these for free, and they make nice little patterns to try out your knives when you're making them. And so what we can do is just glue this piece of paper on here, and then we can drill just a very small hole, like a pinhole, like a 1/16 of an inch. Drill through the center there, and one back where the stop pin is. Glue it on a piece of wood, cut it out, sand it, and you will have a wooden mock-up. And that will look something like that. So this, as you can see, I have these little pinholes, 1/16 of an inch holes drilled through here, so that what comes next is we'll be able to use this blade pattern to figure out how our scales need to be and to design them. So the piece of micarta is 5 inches long by about 2 inches wide, and so I just cut out a piece of paper the same size as the micarta and just laid this down on a little piece of corrugated cardboard. And so what we can do is put this knife on top of here and figure out just how we want the scales to be. Want to be conservative to conserve material in case we want to use it for a spacer or something like that. But we know that this edge is going to line up with the edge of the scale, and that it's going to move forward and back. And so what we want to do is use this part of the knife right here for a visual reference. And we want this to be hidden a little bit by the front of the knife. So we're going to bring this up right to about there. Then we're going to check this and adjust it so it's on the back like that. I'm taking a heavy leather sewing needle, and I'm just going to push this down through that piece of paper, through the pivot hole, into the cardboard, and that'll give me a little bit of a purchase on there, and then we can see how this is going to fold. So it's going to fold down like that, and we don't want it to go too far down here. We want to leave plenty of room so that we can get a spacer in there. And we also, I like to make sure that this part of the knife is hidden right here. I don't like it if this stop hole kind of is above the handle. And so we're going to actually move the whole knife that way a little bit. So I'll just bring it up here again, line it up again, give myself just a hair more room. Let's see how we did there. Yep, that's better. That's going to be hidden and closed. I want to make sure that there's room in between here, that it's not too close to the edge of the knife, close down too far. And then I can just draw around the blade like this to give me an idea of where the blade is going to sit. Alright. Now I'm going to simply pull that up like that. We know that this is the front of the knife, and this is where the blade is going to go through and the tang sticking up. And so what we want to make sure is that there's room down here to keep the tip protected. And what I'd encourage you to do is give yourself room so that the tip of the knife is recessed back in enough that it doesn't get caught on stuff in your pocket, and that it's just kind of protected like that. But don't make it too long, because if you do, then your handle will look very long and your blade short. So we're just going to give ourselves a little bit of room and just kind of sketch this out and draw a straight line up like this, so I know, okay, that's about where I want the back of the knife to be, at least in relationship with the tip, however I, decide to do that. And then I want the front of my knife to be, the scales to be a little bit rounded. So we'll round those a little bit like that. And then just going to sketch kind of a curve in the handle. And it's going to come back like that. And then here, I'll curve down the other way. And there you have it. That's what our scales will look like. So I've got those drawn out roughly by hand, and what I can do is I can cut those out and then I can make adjustments with the scissors. Sometimes, because you can cut smoothly in an arc, it's almost like you can use a pair of scissors more accurately sometimes than you can draw, at least to get those kind of things. But there we have it. That's a perfectly designed scale that's going to fit that knife. Flip that over so the lines aren't there. You can see what it looks like. And stick this pin through again and through our pivot hole. And there we have it. We know that that is going to work just fine. Now, as you can see too, I gave myself a little bit of extra room right here. There's a little extra room here because I want plenty of meat to be able to adjust the stop pin. Same here, you can see I left a little extra on because what I like to do is drill this hole and drill this hole, and so leaving plenty of room on here so you can get a full drill, and then you can come back later and open it up with sawing and with sanding or grinding. So anyway, that's how you do it. That's a very simple, low-tech way, as you can see, and that's going to fit just nicely. And so you can make a mock-up. You can, you know, use another stick like this and, you know, glue that on there and make a scale if you want to. But I tend to just do it like this for the blade. This is relatively easy. I want to get this as a pattern glued onto my micarta. And then when I finish one of the scales, I've got that little pinhole to drill down through to whatever size I'm going to use in terms of pivot pin. So there you go. That's how you design one simply by hand. Hey, well, I hope you enjoyed that, getting started making your first friction folder. That was a lot of fun showing you that. Now, I just want to say a word about this too. I know there's a lot of people out there who are just like me. You get your materials, you're just itching to work on it, and you want to rush through it. I'd encourage you not to do that. There's a couple different tips and things that we're going to discuss and some options, and if you rush ahead, you're limited to whatever it is that you do. Now, you know, do what you want. It's your stuff, and hey, we're having a good time. But I'd encourage you to follow along, just be a little bit patient. Someone asked me too if you could be in the build along and also be a patron. Of course you can. So if you want to be a patron and you are building along, that's absolutely fine. You just register, pay 30 bucks, and you'll be entered into the great drawings that we're having. I want to show you this. This is a beautiful kukri. This style is called a sirupati, and you can see there it's got some engraving and some inlay, brass, super functional. Look how thick that monster is. Tapered tang, full tang pinned. I bought this at Kukri House, hey Sanjay, in Nepal a couple months ago, and carried this back specifically as a prize to give away in a drawing for our patrons. So coming up, there's going to be a drawing. It'll probably be this coming Friday for our patrons. So if you are interested in this beautiful, beautiful kukri, I'd encourage you to sign up as a patron. I guarantee it costs me more than 30 bucks. And we'll be drawing and giving that away to some lucky patron. Hey, thank you so much for your support. I'm excited that we're into the Build Along videos. Everyone have a wonderful week, and good luck making your knife.